Reproductive Rights, the front line of human freedom. Welcome to the BlackCEO Podcast. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that touches the very core of our humanity, reproductive rights. But this isn't just another discussion about politics or policy. This is about real lives, real struggles, and the power we all have to create change. I recently had the privilege of interviewing Nancy Davis, a woman whose personal journey has transformed into a movement that's changing lives and challenging the status quo. Nancy isn't just an activist, she's a beacon of hope and a testament to the strength of the human spirit. Her story began with a heart wrenching struggle in Louisiana where she was denied an abortion despite carrying a baby with a fatal condition. But from that pain, she forged a path of advocacy that's inspiring thousands and shaking the foundations of our healthcare system. As I sat across from Nancy, listening to her speak, I was struck by the raw authenticity in her voice. There was no pretense, no political jargon, just the truth of her experience and the passion it had ignited within her. And that's what I want to share with you today. The lessons, the insights, and the urgent call to action that emerged from our conversation. You see, Nancy's story isn't just about one woman's struggle. It's about all of us. It's about human rights, dignity, and the power we all have to create change. So let's dive in, shall we? The first thing that hit me during our conversation was a simple yet profound truth. Reproductive rights are human rights. Sounds straightforward, doesn't it? But when you really sit with that idea, when you let it sink in, it becomes clear just how fundamental this issue is to our lives, our freedom, and our very humanity. Nancy shared with me how her experience opened her eyes to a reality that many of us don't see until it affects us personally. She said, I didn't choose to become an activist. My journey started because I was put in an impossible situation, one that no one should have to face. Think about that for a moment. How many of us go about our daily lives, never imagining that we could be thrust into a situation where our most basic rights, the right to make decisions about our own bodies, could be stripped away? It's a sobering thought, isn't it? But here's the thing. This isn't just about abortion. It's about bodily autonomy. It's about healthcare access. It's about freedom in its most essential form. As Nancy put it, if the government can force you to stay pregnant against your will, what else can they control? This is where the conversation often gets stuck. We get caught up in political debates, in abstract arguments about when life begins or ends. But Nancy's story reminds us that behind every statistic, behind every law, there are real people, real families, real suffering. She told me about women she's met through her work, women from all walks of life who found themselves in impossible situations. A married couple excited to start a family, devastated by a fatal fetal diagnosis. A mother of three knowing another pregnancy could push her family into poverty. A teenager, a victim of assault, forced to carry a pregnancy because the law says she has no choice. These aren't just stories, they're lives, they're futures hanging in the balance. And they're happening right now, all around us. But here's where things get really interesting and where I think Nancy's insights are truly transformative. She believes, no, she knows that sharing our stories has the power to change hearts and minds. When Nancy first spoke publicly about her experience, she was terrified. She didn't know how people would react. But what she found was a community of people who had been through similar experiences, people who had felt alone, who had suffered in silence. People reached out to me saying, that happened to my sister, or I had to make the same choice and I thought I was alone, she told me. And in those moments of connection, something powerful happened. People who had never thought about abortion rights suddenly understood why this fight matters. People who had been on the fence found themselves compelled to take action. This is the power of vulnerability. This is the strength that comes from sharing our truth, even when, especially when it's difficult. And it's a lesson that goes far beyond the issue of reproductive rights. How many of us carry stories within us that could change someone's perspective if only we had the courage to share them? How many movements for justice and equality have been sparked by someone brave enough to stand up and say, this happened to me and it's not okay. Let's be clear. This isn't just about changing minds. It's about changing laws, changing systems, and ultimately changing lives. Because the harsh reality is that laws restricting abortion don't stop abortions from happening. They just make them harder to access. and they hit the most vulnerable among us the hardest. Nancy shared some statistics with me that I think we all need to hear. Black women are 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes than white women in the U.S. Many states that ban abortion also have some of the highest maternal mortality rates. And often the same lawmakers who want to ban abortion refuse to expand Medicaid, improve childcare access, or support paid family leave. It's a stark reminder that this fight isn't happening in a vacuum. It's deeply intertwined with issues of racial justice, economic equality, and healthcare access. As Nancy put it, that tells us these laws were never about life or protecting babies. They're about control. But here's where hope comes in, because while the challenges are real and the stakes are high, Nancy's story and the stories of countless others like her show us that we are not powerless. We have a voice. We have a vote. And when we come together, we have the power to create real lasting change. So what can we do? How do we take this knowledge, this understanding, and turn it into action? Nancy had some powerful suggestions that I want to share with you. First, educate yourself. Know your rights. Understand the laws in your state and how they impact not just you, but your community. And then share that knowledge. Because information is power. And in this fight, we need all the power we can get. Second, vote. And not just in national elections. Pay attention to your local races, your state legislators, because often it's these less publicized elections that have the most direct impact on reproductive rights laws. Third, speak up. Have those difficult conversations with friends and family. Post on social media. Share your story if you have one. Because remember, your voice matters. Your experience matters. And you never know who might be listening or who might be changed by hearing your truth. Fourth, support organizations doing the work on the ground. Donate to abortion funds. Volunteer your time. Because while big picture advocacy is important, there are people who need help right now, today. But perhaps most importantly, don't give up hope, because that's exactly what those who want to take away our rights want us to do. They want us to feel defeated, to feel powerless, but we're not. We're strong, we're resilient, and we're in this together. As I listened to Nancy speak, I was struck by her unwavering determination. Despite everything she's been through, despite the setbacks and the challenges, she remains hopeful, and that hope is contagious. She shared a quote with me from one of her mentors, Cecile Richards. The fight for reproductive freedom is long, but we are on the right side of history. And I believe that with all my heart. This fight isn't just about us. It's about our daughters, our sisters, our friends. It's about creating a world where everyone has the freedom to make decisions about their own bodies, their own lives, their own futures. It's about building a society that truly values and protects all human rights. And here's the thing. We can do it. We can create that world. But it's going to take all of us. It's going to take courage. It's going to take persistence. And yes, it's going to take vulnerability. So I want to leave you with the challenge to think about your own story. Think about how reproductive rights or the lack thereof have impacted your life or the lives of people you love. And then, if you feel ready, share that story. Share it with a friend. Share it on social media. Share it with your representatives, because your story matters. Your voice matters. And together, our voices can create a chorus so loud, so powerful that it can't be ignored. Remember what Nancy said? We are not powerless. We have the ability to shape our laws, our society, our future, but it starts with each of us standing up, speaking out, and refusing to back down. So let's make a promise to ourselves and to each other. Let's promise to stay informed, to stay engaged, and to keep fighting for what's right. Let's promise to support each other, to lift each other up, and to never, ever give up hope. Because this fight isn't just about reproductive rights. It's about human rights. It's about dignity. It's about freedom. And it's a fight we can and will win. As we come to the end of our time together, I want you to take a moment. Close your eyes if you can, and imagine the world we're fighting for. A world where everyone has access to the health care they need. A world where no one has to cross state lines to get basic medical care. A world where our bodies are our own and our choices are respected. That world is possible. And with every conversation we have, every vote we cast, every story we share, we're getting closer to making it a reality. So I challenge you. I challenge you to step out of your comfort zone, to have those difficult conversations, to speak up when it would be easier to stay silent, to stand up for what's right, even when it's hard. I challenge you to educate yourself, to stay informed, and to use that knowledge to educate others. to vote in every election, not just the big ones, because every vote matters in this fight. I challenge you to support organizations doing this vital work, to donate if you can, to volunteer if you're able, to be there for those who need help, who need support, who need to know they're not alone. And most of all, I challenge you to never, ever give up hope, because hope is what fuels this fight. Hope is what keeps us going when the odds seem insurmountable. Hope is what will ultimately lead us to victory. Remember, every great movement in history started with a few brave individuals who dared to stand up and say, this is not right, who dared to imagine a better world, who dared to fight for that world no matter the cost. We are those individuals. We are the ones who will make history. We are the ones who will ensure that reproductive rights are recognized without question as fundamental human rights. So let's leave here today, not just with knowledge, not just with inspiration, but with a burning determination to act, to make our voices heard, to create change, because the future is not something that happens to us. The future is something we create. And together we can create a future where reproductive rights are protected, where healthcare is accessible to all, and where every person has the freedom to make decisions about their own body and their own life. This is our fight. This is our time. And this is our opportunity to stand on the right side of history. So let's get to work. Let's raise our voices. Let's share our stories. And let's create a world where reproductive rights are recognized without question as fundamental human rights. Your voice is powerful. Your story matters. You matter. And together we can change the world. Thank you.